I'm Jill Savitt, and I'm the CEO and president of the National Center for Civil and Human Rights, which is a civil rights and human rights museum that tells the story of the U.S. civil rights movement and then connects that to the global struggle for freedom around the world. We focus on educating young people about history and its connection to today. We train law enforcement in human rights, and we have a DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion program that helps companies change their cultures or enhance their culture so that they're more welcoming of everybody. So I started out as a reporter, both for newspapers and for radio. And so I thought, I wonder if these skills of research and writing and chasing down stories could be useful in the nonprofit world where people were doing advocacy. And so out of that, I started to get more into global human rights. And I went to an organization called the Lawyers Committee for Human Rights, which later changed its name to Human Rights First. And I started to drill down on a range of global issues, particularly international justice, and taking up the cases of human rights defenders around the world who were being persecuted for their advocacy. As I did that work, I got very deep into the mass atrocities and eventually genocide that were taking place in Darfur, in Sudan, and took up the cases of particular human rights advocates there who had found themselves thrown in jail for bogus reasons or experiencing assassination attempts against them. From that job at Human Rights First, I wanted to do a particularly muscular, we could say, campaign that focused on ending the genocide in Darfur, and we chose the target of the Chinese government. And the Chinese government was responsible for buying oil from Sudan and selling weapons to Sudan. So they were quite complicit in the genocide there. And they were hosting the 2008 Beijing Games. And so I raised a little money and started an international campaign to call attention to China so that it would not protect Sudan at the United Nations Security Council. And we eventually got China to refuse to sign certain documents that then paved the way to bringing the Sudanese government up for crimes against humanity and genocide at the International Criminal Court, which was a major milestone in that effort to try and protect the people in Darfur. I consider human rights to be Jewish in origin. They have a Jewish history. The entire international architecture for human rights was created because of this singular crime against Jews, the Holocaust. You also have, in that creation, many of the lawyers were Jewish. And they brought Jewish values, almost Talmudic values, to the creation of these laws to protect people. Judaism, to me, as a Jew, is about two central things: law and love. And that's what human rights are about. They're about loving other human beings and using the law and the legal architecture to protect people. The National Council of Jewish Women is such an organization that promotes the rights and freedoms of everyone. As an organization, it does that, and it helps individuals carry that fight on. My Shero sets a very high bar, and that's Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt is the mother of human rights. She crafted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That is now the word. All countries of the world have signed on to it, and that means they're forced to uphold these values. I aspire to be like Eleanor Roosevelt, to study the things I think I believe and make sure that I still believe them, to be curious, to meet new and different kinds of people, to learn what their lives are like, to have empathy, and to be courageous.